So I was working late the other night, had a lot to do, and my wife, being the kind soul she is, stopped in and brought me dinner. So she laid things out all nice and fancy and even brought a candle. However, when she went to light the candle, the wick was too short and she couldn't get it lit. And that's when my expensive cologne collection came to the rescue. All I did was spray the wick about 3 or 4 times.
It smells so good.
Got that candle smelling amazing. And with a tiny spark from that lighter, I had a raging fire going. But seriously, that hack worked. And speaking of candles, let's talk about how a little bit of wax can stop your sunglasses from slipping. You know what I'm talking about. You got a pair of Wayfarer's sunglasses made from acetate. Basically, a pair of sunglasses without anti-slip nose guards. Well, gents, if you're tired of those sunglasses slipping down in your nose all the time, all you have to do is take a little bit of wax and put it on the area that touches your nose. This creates a thin anti-slip surface, which will keep those sunglasses in place all day. Now this next tip is just in time for summer. I'm gonna share with you the best way to roll your shirt sleeves. And yes, in case you're wondering, I've created an infographic with all the different ways to do it, but the best one, the one I'm gonna recommend to you, is the master roll. So you start off by unbuttoning the cuff and gauntlet buttons. Next, you flip the cuff inside out and pull it just above the elbow. Then you fold the edge of the shirt up to trap the bottom of the cuff, so only the top of the cuff is showing. Now first up, this roll just looks good, especially if it ends right below the elbows. On top of that, my favorite part about this roll is how easy it is to undo. You simply pull on it and it comes apart. Compare that to the sleeve roll most guys are doing, where they're rolling it in and of itself 3 to 4 times, and you'll find the master roll is the only roll you use this summer. Now speaking of summer and hot weather, any of you guys deal with chafing down there? Yeah, when you get hot and sweaty in the crotch area? Well, if that's the case, gents, you need to check out this clothing trick that most guys don't know about, and that is that there is underwear designed with a pouch system. Seriously, gents, with this underwear, the branch and berries are taken care of. Because let's face it, gents, if you're an active guy, if you're at jiu-jitsu practice, you're out running 10 miles, you're just going out hiking in extreme hot weather, yeah, you want gear that's going to take care of your most prized asset. And that's why, gents, I'm proud to bring you today's sponsor, Sheath Underwear. Now, gents, I've been talking about Sheath for years because I love the product. Sheath is veteran owned. Robert, I love his story. The guy was deployed. He was very sensitive down there. He was actually designing out this underwear when he was out in the field because he was tired of dealing with the irritation and powders just wouldn't cut it. On top of that, let's talk about durability. I've got pairs of Sheath underwear I've probably had for like 6 to 7 years. I've washed this well over 100 times and they are still holding up and they look good. Now, most of the pairs in my collection are black, but if you go over to their website, you're going to find they've got a variety of patterns, a variety of colors, and a variety of different fits and styles. Oh, and if you're a UFC fan, Sheath is now the official underwear of UFC. And it's really cool to see men that are this active, men that are pushing their bodies to the limit, are out there wearing Sheath underwear and at least protecting their growing area. But seriously, gents, I wear Sheath underwear because it's great. It holds up, it's comfortable. They use a modal type fabric, which is basically made from cotton, but it is sewn in a way that's going to have stretch. It's going to be incredibly comfortable. It wicks away moisture. And simply put, Sheath is the most comfortable underwear I have ever worn. And seriously, for the quality, the durability, they are a great deal for the price. So gents, if it's not clear, I absolutely love this underwear brand. Use that link in the description of today's video to get the best deal on the web over at Sheath. Awesome company, proud to support them. Now, this next clothing hack that the majority of men don't know about has to do with your footwear. You're out traveling, you're on the road, you don't have access to your shoe shine box, which you should have one. In any case, you notice you're getting marks on your leather shoes and you're like, you know what? I wish I had a leather conditioner with me. Well, it turns out if you've got face lotion, if you've got body lotion, if you've got hand lotion, you can use that in lieu of a leather conditioner, and it will, in a pinch, revitalize the look of your leather shoes. Now, what if your shoes are a little bit fancier? You don't need the conditioning, you want a little bit more of a polish. And the difference, by the way, conditioning goes into the leather, polish usually sits on top and gives a bit of a shine. Well, if your goal is a polish, in a pinch, you can use a little bit of hair conditioner, or if you want even more of a shine, a little bit of Vaseline. Now, what if you've got a pair of sneakers, white ones to be exact, and they've got a few marks on them, a few stain spots? Well, in that case, use toothpaste, white toothpaste to be exact. Yeah, you don't want to use anything like a blue gel, but that white toothpaste, especially the type that is listed as having a whitening formula in it, can actually work and do wonders on a pair of shoes. Now, what about suede? What if you got a mark? What if you have a stain on your pair of suede shoes? Well, in that case, using a pencil eraser, preferably one that isn't colored, or even going over with the toothbrush can in many times remove the stain or discoloring. Now this next tip is about keeping that shirt tucked in all day without any special tools, just simply what you have at your disposal. First up, let's learn the military tuck. Now I actually learned this tuck in the Marine Corps because it looks so much better than having bunching all in the back or even on the sides. And the way it works is you simply tuck the shirt in and then you pinch the excess fabric on the sides and fold it back before tightening your belt. Basically, this creates a much cleaner silhouette. Now, if the shirt is still coming untucked, consider the underwear tuck. Don't worry, no one's going to see your underwear. You are just simply leveraging the elastic of the underwear to better keep the shirt in place. Now, I wear a lot of button-down shirts, so this next one has been a lifesaver for me many times whenever I notice a button is starting to come undone, it's starting to fray. You've got the loose threads telling you this thing is eventually going to come off, but you don't have time to sew it back on. Well, a quick hack to get at least one more wear out of this button before it pops off is to use super glue to stop the thread from coming undone. And in a pinch, clear nail polish also works to do this. This hack also works when you've got a loose thread on a piece of clothing and you know, hey, I shouldn't be pulling on this. Every time you cut it, it keeps coming undone. If you don't want that clothing falling apart on you before you get it to a tailor or fix it yourself with a needle and thread, then yeah, stopping that unraveling thread with a little bit of super glue or clear nail polish will do the trick. Now this next one seems obvious, but so many guys fail to do it, and that is streamline the size of your wallet. If you've got a larger wallet or billfold, you are going to put more in it. When you have a small wallet that literally can only carry 2 to 3 cards, guess what? You're only going to carry those 2 to 3 cards. And you don't have to go extreme. There are so many variations in between. Find the one that works for you. But seriously, I think most of you will find that everything you need can be condensed into a small billfold. Now, this next one's going to address the biggest offense that I see when it comes to men's tailoring, and that is men not getting their trousers hemmed. I get it, you're busy, you got a lot going on. Taking your trousers to get them hemmed by a tailor, it's a pain in the butt. But what if you could do this yourself at home with tape? Well, believe it or not, gents, there's hemming tape. It reacts with heat, and all you need is an iron and a little bit of time, aka 5 minutes, to totally transform the look of your trousers. And this hack works especially well for those of you guys renting a tux. Yeah, you get that tux, they said it was going to fit you, but the trousers are way too long. And because you're renting the tux and your prom's tonight, you don't have time to get them hemmed, and you definitely don't want to pay for damage to the trousers. But you want to look good, right? The answer, gents? Double-sided tape. Maybe 1 or 2 pins in there to reinforce because no one's going to notice those pins. And gents, all of a sudden you cut 2 inches off the length of those trousers and you look so much better. Now, what if you've got a wrinkled cotton shirt? Some of you guys maybe have heard, oh, put it into the room in which you're showering. That has never worked for me. What I find does work for me is throwing that wrinkled shirt into the dryer with a couple ice cubes. If you don't have the ice cubes, throw in a wet washcloth and give it 20 minutes. What this does is it steams the clothing and it's going to let out the wrinkles. If you do happen to have an iron and you're really short on time, focus in on the shirt collars, focus in on the front placket and the cuffs. Assuming you're wearing a jacket, nobody's going to notice that you've got wrinkles in the sleeves and the body. All right, gents, so what video is next? Come on, you guys know I got you covered. Check it out. How long do I need to hold this up? Click the video. Yeah, it's a good one.